It's so great to be together, even though it's across the miles right now. I really miss having all of our children here at Salem Covenant Church as we tell the stories and as we worship God together. And of course, if you're one of those who's never been here at our building, but you're connecting for the first time with Salem Covenant Church, I want to welcome you. It's great to be able to tell you one of my favorite stories. So for those children I've been with in the past and those that I hope I get to meet sometime, listen in for just this wonderful story about one of my favorite characters ever. His name is Edgar the eaglet. He's this little eagle that's going to grow to be huge. I mean, an eagle, they're so very big, flying through the air. But when Edgar was born or hatched out of the egg, he was really small. He couldn't see very well at first, but later on he's going to be able to see across a football stadium and be able to read a newspaper if eagles could read. And well, Edgar was hatched up in what's called an eyrie. It's a nest that was way up high on a cliff. It was so high you'd barely be able to see it, but because as Edgar grew, his eyes got so good, he could look out from that nest and look out over the forest and the fields below. And he could see all kinds of things. I mean, over in the forest over this way, sometimes people would come riding through on their horses, and he could hear the horses making their noise. They're pounding on the ground, and every now and then go, "Neigh," as they cried out. He could look out to the field over there, and there were cows, and he could hear them saying, "Moo," and he loved just to listen in. Over this way, there are actually some shepherds with their sheep, and as they led those sheep along the way, those sheep would go, "Ma, ma." He just loved looking out. The squirrels and the chipmunks, he could see it all. But the thing that he loved to watch the most was when his mom would take off from the eyrie, that nest way up high on the cliff. It was the most amazing thing. She would spread out her wings and just soar up into the sky. It looked like she was going to go all the way up to the sun, but then she'd come back down and she'd fly through a cloud and back down. And then she could go diving down to the ground and almost going to splat on the ground, but she'd come right back up again. It was just beautiful to watch. When she'd come back, he'd say, "Oh, Mom, I can't wait until I can fly. Can I fly today? Can I fly today?" And she said, "No, honey, you got to grow a little more. Let me give you some food. You need to get your rest, but you're going to grow, and you're going to be able to fly before long." Well, finally, that day came when it was a day for Edgar to learn to fly. And when that day came, he was so very excited. But when his mom said, "Hey, come on over here to the edge of the eyrie, the edge of the nest," he started to be a little less excited. As he went to the edge of that nest where he could look down at the fields and the forest below, it used to look beautiful, but right now it looked really scary. He was clinging to the side of the eyrie like this with his big talons. And his mom said, "Okay, we're going to do it now. We're going to fly." And he said, "No, Mom, today's not a good day for flying. I don't think so. The wind's really windy and the sun's really bright. And I think maybe tomorrow would be a better day." And she said, "Oh, honey, come on. It's okay. You're an eagle. You were created to fly. That's what eagles do. You can trust me. You can step out and do what I'm calling you to do. And you can know that if I tell you you can fly, you can fly." So he came back over to the edge of the eyrie. He dug his talons into the side there. And he looked over. And his mom said, "Okay, I want you to look at me." And he looked over at her. And she said, "Okay, now what's going to happen is when I tell you 1, 2, 3, you jump off the eyrie. And I want you to spread out your wings as wide as you can. And the air is going to come up under your wings and it's going to start to lift you up. And you're going to start to flap your wings like this. And you're going to start to go up. instead of down. You can trust me, right? When I say go, you spread out your wings and you'll fly. He said, okay, Mom. When you say go, I spread out my wings and I fly. So he was there at the edge of the nest, and she started to count. 1, 2, 3, go! And he didn't go. He just hung there. And she said, oh, come on, honey. You can do it. All you have to do is spread out your wings and fly. You can trust me. So she said, I'm going to count again. And he went 1, 2, 3. She said, go. And he still wasn't going. So his mom just kind of nudged him a little bit with her wing. And off he went. Over the edge of the nest, down toward the ground. He was falling so fast. His mom is calling out, spread out your wings and fly. But he was just crying, no! As he was crying and falling down, the ground was coming closer to him all the time. He's coming down faster and faster. And suddenly his mom went, shoo! And she swooped underneath him and she caught him right there on her shoulders. And she went flying back up in the air, and he's clinging to her shoulders. Mom, don't ever do that again. Don't do that. That was so scary. I'm going to die. She said, no, you're not going to die. You're going to fly. He said, no, Mom, I can't fly. Maybe I'm not even an eagle. I don't know. I can't do it, Mom. I can't do it. She said, you can do it. Remember, when you start to fall, you spread out your wings. You're going to be able to fly. And he said, no, Mom, don't do it. And she tucked in her wings like this. She rolled over, and off Edgar went, falling back toward the ground. He was tumbling again, falling faster and faster. The ground's coming up faster and faster. He's crying, Mom! And she swooped underneath one more time. Her wings were outstretched like this, and he fell down on her shoulders, and she brought him up higher than ever before. She said, Edgar, you got to trust me. This is what you were created for. You were created to fly. Trust me. Stretch out your wings. Do what I'm telling you to do. And you're going to find out that this is the best thing ever. Well, up she went, higher and higher into the sky. She was so high that they were way above where his nest, his eyrie, had been. And she said, okay, it's time now. I'm going to roll again. And when you start to fall, I want you to spread out your wings. You can fly. Well, sure enough, 1, 2, 3, go. She tucked in her wings. She rolled over. Edgar started to fall off the side again. He's falling down toward the ground. The ground's coming up faster and faster. His mom's flying nearby. Edgar, stretch out your wings. You can fly. And finally, he stretched them out a little bit. And he started to fall, not as fast as before. The wind was starting to come up under his wings. He was falling slower and slower. She said, stretch out your wings all the way. And so he stretched them out even farther. And sure enough, the air under his wings began to catch him, and he was hardly falling at all. And she said, now flap your wings, even just a little bit. And he started to flap his wings, and the most amazing thing happened. He started to fly. Up into the air he went. His mom right there by his side. They flew along the top of the mountains, up into the sky and down into the valleys. He learned that day how to fly. After all, he was an eagle. That's what he was created for. And that became the favorite thing for Edgar to do every day for the rest of his life. And for us too, God created us for certain things, to do certain things. And sometimes we're afraid to do them. We don't want to do them. We think following Jesus, following the teaching of the Bible will not be all that good for us. But this is why we listen to what God is saying to us. He says, trust me. Listen to what I'm teaching you. Because as you do what I teach you to do, you'll find this is what you were created for. You were created to love. You were created to be kind. You were created to help people. You were created to follow the teaching of our God. And as you do, I know that you will experience the great joy that God longs for you to have inside. So God bless you. Let's go and follow what God teaches us to do, trusting him all the way. God bless you.